The air in Chidi's curios and collectibles was a thick, comfortable soup of scents. Old paper, simmering goat meat, Madame Flora's lavender perfume, and the faint metallic tang of magic. To any casual browser, it was a dusty, chaotic cavern of forgotten things. But to Uncle Chidi, a man with a smile that could power a small village and a laugh that rumbled like warm thunder, it was a living, breathing gallery of retired genius. He moved through the clutter now, a large man in a brightly patterned shirt balancing a tray of small ceramic cups. "Soup's on," he bellowed, his voice bouncing off teetering stacks of books and glass cases filled with mismatched china. "Chef's special today is a whisper of ginger and a prayer." From behind a bolt of fabric so rich it looked like woven midnight, a thin man with spectacles perched on his nose snorted. "A prayer is what that broth needs, Chidi. My darning has more substance." "Ah, Benedict, your thread may mend cloth, but my soup mends souls," Chidi retorted, setting a cup before the tailor. He winked. "And your soul could use a little darning, my friend." In the corner, a man in a slightly shabby tuxedo, the magnificent Marco, made a playing card vanish for an audience of 3. Madame Flora, a former opera singer whose voice could still shatter glass, and young Liam, a wide-eyed college student who came for the free Wi-Fi and stayed for the stories. This was the true inventory of Chidi's shop. Not the curios, but the collectors. A family of semi-retired legends, curated and cared for by Uncle Chidi. The inciting incident arrived in a suit. Mr. Sterling from Authentic Experiences, Inc. was so polished he seemed to reflect the dust motes rather than collect them. He didn't browse, he assessed. "A unique space," Mr. Sterling said, his smile a sterile, functional thing. "We see potential, wasted potential." He made his offers, one by one. A corporate salary for Benedict to teach artisanal mending in a sterile studio. A residency for Marco to perform his vintage illusions in a hotel lobby. A contract for Chef Gabriel to can his sublime soup and sell it as a gourmet narrative. The air grew thick with a different tension, the kind not even Chidi's soup could cut. That evening, the parlor was silent. The usual bickering and laughter had been replaced by a heavy contemplation. "It's security, Chidi," Benedict muttered, tracing a frayed edge on his chair. "My hands won't always be this steady." "He said my magic has retro appeal," Marco sighed, shuffling his cards listlessly. Chidi felt a rare flicker of frustration. He saw the doubt in their eyes, the seductive pull of the hefty sums. But letting that flicker die, he clapped his hands together, the sound cracking through the gloom. "So, the man in the shiny suit thinks he can buy what we have. He thinks this," he gestured around the cluttered, warm room, "is a product. He does not understand it is a process, a living thing. So, we will show him." His proactive pursuit had begun. "We are not a shop, we are a subscription." He rallied them with the energy of a general planning a glorious, chaotic battle. "Benedict, you won't just teach darning, you'll teach the philosophy of the mend, how to fix what is broken and make it more beautiful. Marco, your show is not vintage, it is the intimacy of wonder, for 3 people at a time. And Gabe," he said, turning to the quiet chef, "your soup is not a narrative, it is the main character." Chidi's charm was his strategy. He used his social web, calling in favors from every artist, musician, and oddball he'd ever befriended. Liam, the college student, became their digital champion, building a website not for e-commerce, but for storytelling. He filmed Marco's fingers, fluid and precise, and wrote blog posts about Benedict's thread, spun from stories as much as silk. They launched the Parlor of Second Chances membership. For a monthly fee, subscribers didn't get products, they got access. A virtual seat in the shop, live-streamed lessons, behind-the-scenes stories, and the chance to book one of the coveted in-person spots for a session. The obstacle was not a lack of interest, but a surplus of skepticism. Mr. Sterling returned, his sterile smile now a sharp line. A charming but futile effort. We have trademarks. We have leverage. You have contracts, Chidi corrected, his cheerfulness unwavering. We have covenants. You see, you want to sell what my friends do. We are offering who they are. It is a much more valuable product. The climax arrived on a rainy Thursday. Mr. Sterling had sent cease and desist letters claiming their venture violated non-existent agreements. The community Chidi had built now faced its test. Would they fold under the pressure of corporate intimidation? Chidi, however, saw this not as a threat, but as the final puzzle piece. He didn't get angry. He got clever. He invited a local food critic, a woman known for her love of the authentic, for a session. He didn't tell her about the legal trouble. He simply gave her an experience. She watched Benedict mend a tear with a golden thread, explaining how the flaw became the art. She saw Marco perform a trick so close to her she could feel the air move, his quiet patter a form of poetry. And she tasted Gabriel's soup, a recipe that was different every day, a symphony of what was fresh and what felt right. The next day, her column ran with the headline, "The Last True Luxury, a Parlor that Sells Soul." The resolution was not a dramatic courtroom victory, but a quiet, profound triumph. The article brought a flood of new members, not just from their city, but from around the world. People weren't paying for a skill, they were donating to a sanctuary, investing in an idea. Mr. Sterling's offers vanished. His leverage dissolved by the one thing his corporation couldn't manufacture: genuine connection. 1 week later, the parlor was again full of noise and life. The scent of soup and old books was a welcome home. Benedict was darning a pair of jeans, grumbling about the quality of modern denim, but with a small, contented smile. Marco was practicing a new illusion, his eyes bright. Madame Flora, sipping her soup, looked at Chidi. "You know, you old rogue, you are the greatest collector of us all. You collected us when we were all a little broken." Chidi's laugh rumbled through the shop, warm and triumphant. He spread his arms wide, encompassing his family, his art, his living, breathing museum. "Nonsense, Flora. I didn't collect you. I just built the best gallery for you to shine. Now, who wants soup? Today's special is a hint of victory and a whole lot of garlic."